Welcome to the Retirement Blueprint Show. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by Tim Lofton. And Tim is the CEO of the Retire Blueprint. Tim, how are you today?
I'm great, Cynthia.
It's always good to see you, and I love our time together. I love the shows that we do because you're providing such valuable information to the viewing audience, talking about the importance of retiring. So let me ask you a question, Tim.
Okay.
How are you managing your clients that you had before the show started and all of the new clients that you have now?
Well, I will tell you, this has been so exciting. I mean, this has been in the works for a long time, and just we were looking for a way to get the message out there. You know, as you know, Cynthia, there is 7 people every minute of every day turning 65.
Wow.
And just the sheer number of people that are looking for help, that don't have a plan, and the idea of being able to come alongside them and really you know, just offer some solutions. You know, people walk around today with questions that are really generated from fear, and it's the fear of the unknown, of not knowing exactly, you know, what am I going to do if something happened to my spouse, or what am I going to do if I had to spend time in a nursing home, or, you know, how am I going to pay for, you know, a new car? They have all these things that are bouncing around from a question standpoint, and because they don't have answers, they worry. And so our process of the Retirement Blueprint is designed around creating answers to people's questions and designing solutions for potential contingencies. If these things happen, here's what we would do. And once we do that, Cynthia, as you know, we don't have to worry anymore. It's no longer a fear.
It's peace of mind.
It's peace of mind.
Absolutely. So when we talk about retirement, obviously, you have a very interesting definition, Tim. Can you go ahead and go into that for us?
Sure. So my definition of retirement, and this may sound a little strange, but if you think about it, is when you go to work because you choose to, not because you have to. And really, that's what the essence of retirement is all about. When you go to work every day and you don't have to be there, it's a completely different work environment, in a completely different place mentally, because you could quit any day. And you know, some we've even had clients actually mention that to their bosses. Really? You know,
I choose to be here.
Careful.
You be nice to me.
I'm coming to work every day because I choose to, not because I have to. And Tim told me I don't have to go to work anymore. So you just be careful in the way you treat me.
I love that. And you know what? I'm sure that came across really well when he said that. Absolutely. So, Tim, let me ask you a question. I know we've talked about this before. When you have a lot of people that are coming in to speak with you, let's say it's a married couple, husband and wife, and they have the idea that they want to retire. What happens if you have a situation where in the marriage, one spouse might be older than the other spouse, and one spouse can retire and the other one cannot? What does that dynamic look like, and how do you help with that?
Well, you know, that happens a lot more than you think, Cynthia. We have a lot of second marriages today. Sometimes it's because of somebody that was widowed or maybe a divorce situation, but a lot of times there will be an age gap that maybe you know, if somebody got married in their 20s would have never made sense, but in their 40s, 50s, 60s totally makes sense. And so the idea there was that, you know, there's a whole set of planning and counseling that goes along with that scenario. The first thing is that, are you sure you're ready to retire? And what I mean by that is, when somebody says, I'm ready to retire, when we start asking them questions, a lot of times they haven't really thought through the process of retirement and what that's actually going to look like. The second thing is that you have to have a conversation with your spouse. You know, I know for me, if I were to retire today and I was just, you know, sleeping until, you know, 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, and my wife's still getting up at 5 a.m. going to the office, that would be a problem.
Sure.
You know, she might have something to say about that. And so I think that there has to be ground rules that have to be really talked through. And the idea of, okay, is there going to be, you know, maybe a different sharing of responsibilities, or, you know, maybe or if you're going to stay home, are you going to pick up maybe some of the additional things that your spouse was doing before to kind of even things out a little bit? And it's really important to communicate that, because I've seen so many times where a spouse has been like, you know what, he's home all the time and it drives me crazy. And the reason is that they've never had a conversation of what the day-to-day was going to look like. And they don't have really an agreement in place of how that's going to look, because they've been doing something a certain way for 30 years, 40 years, and now all of a sudden you're going to completely transition into a different lifestyle, and that lifestyle has to be agreed on by both parties.
Sure, that makes sense. And also, let's talk, Tim, I love how you talked about immediately when you're thinking about retirement, it may not be exactly what you're thinking because you haven't thought about it. So we're also talking about the life change that takes place, because you've had the same work family for so many years, and then all of a sudden that part of you is going to be gone. So do you ever have a lot of people that are a little nervous to leave that part of their life behind for the emotional perspective?
Without a doubt. You know, any time that you have spent that much time doing something and have found value in it, and that people have found value in you for doing it, that's a big thing to walk away from. And you know, I kind of equate it to professional athletes. I mean, imagine every Sunday showing up on the football field and having 100,000 people yell your name and tell you're the greatest thing in the world, and then waking up one Sunday and not doing that.
Exactly.
I mean, that has got to be such an amazing change mentally, emotionally, where you were a part of something and now the next day you're not.
Absolutely.
So finding value in that transition is very important. And what it's led to for a lot of our clients is that they don't retire. They continue to work a lot of times at the same place that they were working, and they transition into a part-time or maybe even a consulting role in some cases. And then in other cases, we have clients that kind of go off on their own. They start their own business at 55, 60, 65 years old. They had a passion for doing something. They have a lot of experience and things to offer, and they offer their services to individuals or to other companies as a consultant. And that has been very successful in keeping some of those same life experiences and the things that they're used to.
Sure.
And we found that it just adds to longevity.
Absolutely, and because they have a purpose then for getting up in the morning, and they have the enjoyment, if you will. Well, Tim, this is the perfect time for us to go ahead and open up the phone lines to the viewers at home. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay, to the viewers at home, the phone lines are now open. That number to call is 855-684-3485. What you're calling in for today is a complimentary consultation with Tim. Let him take a look at what you currently have in place for retirement, and let him design a retirement blueprint so that you can retire with confidence and comfortably. And again, this offer is going to be available to the first 10 callers only today. Don't miss the opportunity to have your own retirement blueprint designed for you. That number once again is 855-684-3485. When we come back from this very short commercial break, we're going to have so much more, so stay tuned.
As you prepare for, transition into, and navigate retirement, there's one thing you're sure to have: questions. Lots of questions about retirement. Like, when can I retire? Will I run out of money? Who pays for nursing home care? And many, many more.
We use the Beta Blueprint retirement planning software to help answer your questions.
This program takes stacks of documents from every area of your financial life and converts them into one large picture. Just as you would never buy a house without seeing it first, why would you ever retire without being able to visualize it? By being able to see the whole picture, you can then make better decisions about your retirement. First, the blueprint looks at your top goals and concerns. Then, we look at your age and the trigger age decisions you have to make, like when to take Social Security, Medicare, and required minimum distributions. Next, we analyze your fixed income streams and compare that to your retirement lifestyle. For most people, their lifestyle exceeds their income, so we determine which assets to tap to make up the difference. When looking at assets, there are 3 key numbers we want you to know. The first number is the risk score of what you own. Every investor has a risk tolerance, and every investment has a risk score. The risk scale runs from 1 to 99, and the S&P 500 has a score of 78. We use a scientific framework that won the Nobel Prize for Economics for its ability to identify true risk tolerance. If you are taking too much risk, when would you want to know? The second number we want to know is the maximum drawdown of what you own. Maximum drawdown is the maximum loss from a market peak to a market trough. The maximum drawdown of the S&P 500 in 2008 was about 51%. What was the maximum drawdown of what you own? And the third number is your annual withdrawal rate percent. If you're taking too much here, you could run out of money. Finally, we look at your insurance and long-term care. Do you have life insurance? If so, what type, and does it expire? We analyze the income reduction from losing a spouse. We want to know if the surviving spouse will be protected. Have you planned for long-term care? Do you know all your health care options? Being able to put all this information in picture format is like watching holistic planning come to life. Your financial picture helps us identify the potential cracks and red flags in your overall retirement plan. Remember, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Discover the power of the picture for your retirement. Learn how to get a blueprint of your life.
Welcome back to the Retirement Blueprint Show. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by Tim Lofton, and Tim is the CEO of the Retire Blueprint. Tim, we were going to the commercial phone lines. The number was on the screen, and obviously it was amazing to see all of the calls coming in. I love that. So I want to ask you just a quick question. I know a lot of people in the viewing audience today, perhaps they currently have a plan in place or what they think is a plan. How important is it, in your opinion, to have a second opinion from a fresh set of eyes on that plan?
Well, I think a second opinion is always a good idea. And, you know, it's funny because, you know, we talk to our clients sometimes and they'll be like, you know what, they're almost embarrassed to tell us, but they'll be like, you know, we went and talked to somebody and found out that what we had is actually better than, you know, what they had to offer. But I think the flip side is true too. I mean, we see so many people come into the office today and their plan is really the same plan they've had for the last 20, 30 years. And so they really have not transitioned into an actual retirement-based planning program. They're still in the plan of grow my money, and then their plan to take money out is to call their advisor and say, hey, send me X amount of dollars on a monthly basis. And that's simply not a retirement plan. You know, a retirement plan has to be based on the age of the individual from the standpoint of if you're approaching retirement, your needs are going to change. And so the idea that your existing plan that has been so great for 20 or 30 years is going to be the same plan that's going to carry you into retirement, it doesn't work that way.
And let me interject there for a second, Tim, if I may. A lot of times if you're talking about someone who had a plan 20, 30 years ago, that plan was actually developed more in their accumulation years, correct, when they were still working. And so what we're focusing in on now is more of the distribution part of a person's life, which is really that, you know, multifaceted blueprint that you have that's going to allow them to retire comfortably and make sure that their money lasts throughout all of the retirement years versus 20, 30 years ago when they were worried about just investing, if you will, and saving.
That's exactly right. And you know, there's so many great firms out there that specialize in accumulation. In fact, 95% of advisors are accumulation advisors. They are there to grow somebody's money from point A to point B and get them to the point where they actually show up in our office, where we can focus on how are we going to now put together a comprehensive plan the retirement blueprint that will basically show them where they're going to take money from, how that's going to impact their taxes, how to maximize their taxes, how to claim Social Security. There's like 537 ways to choose how you're going to take Social Security for a married couple.
Wow.
I mean, you have to have help with these things. Looking at the plan through the eyes of a tax planner, looking through the eyes of an estate planner, and making sure that everything is in place to ensure that, number one, that they don't run out of money, but number two, that everything goes the way that it's supposed to go, and that they have a plan if something goes wrong. And that's really the most important piece of it, is that things are going to happen. And we talk all the time about, we want to do life with our clients. Putting together that plan gets them to the starting line. It puts them in a position now that they will be successful, but it's not an event. It is a lifelong process. Once we get that plan in place, then we have to live life together with our clients to make sure that that plan continues to work and that we make the changes necessary along the way.
So it's kind of a game plan, if you will. And are you the quarterback?
I am not the quarterback. I am actually the coach, which
awesome.
I love that analogy, Cynthia. That's exactly right. You know, not to use a football analogy, but I'm going to use a football analogy.
Why not? I started it with quarterback.
You started it, so it's your fault. I'm going to go ahead and go with that. So the idea is that, you know, we're looking at what players to put on the field for what offense and what defense is going to work, and the economy is the team that we're playing. And so that team is changing all the time, right? The tax laws are a team that we're playing, and that changes all the time. And so we're changing and making adjustments on the go and putting in different players and running different offensive and defensive schemes to make sure that we are able to be successful and win that game. And winning the game in retirement is an important game that everybody wants to win.
Absolutely. And again, it comes back to the blueprint that you've designed. And I love the different facets of this, Tim, because obviously you've got the income planning piece that you work through, investment planning, tax planning, healthcare planning, estate planning, and all of these things cohesively go together into the blueprint. I love that you designed that.
Thank you.
It's easy to understand.
It is easy to understand, and that's the thing that I would tell our viewers at home. Most people don't want to pick up the phone and call today because they're afraid that they don't know enough, or that they don't have enough information to be able to give us. You don't need to know anything. For 27 years, all we have done is sit around the table with folks just like you. And we have done that over and over and over again. You're not going to come into our office with a story that we haven't heard before or that we're not ready to help with. And we encourage you, pick up the phone and call us. You have nothing to lose. Come in, meet our family, have a cup of coffee with us, and let us see if we can make a difference in your life.
And I love the fact that you make it so easy to understand, Tim. We've talked about this in the past, that sometimes advisors can use words that just go right over someone's head. But you simplify it and you make it easy to understand, and you make sure your clients understand before they leave your office.
When I first started in this business, I came up with the idea that my grandmother, I love her, she was just amazing, but she didn't know anything about anything when it came to investments, finance, or anything else of that nature. My grandfather handled it all. And so I figured out if I could explain it to my grandmother and she understood, that anybody would understand. And that was really kind of what set me on the path that I am today, of knowing here's how I'm going to explain things in a way that's very simple and very relatable. I'm not here to convince people that I'm really smart. I'm here to convince people that we can help them. And to do that, they have to understand what it is that they have, why they have it, and how it's going to help them get from point A to point B, make it through retirement, have an amazing journey with their spouse and their family, and create memories.
Tim, thank you so much. This is the perfect time for us to reopen up the phone lines to the viewers at home. Would you agree?
Sure.
All right. To the viewers at home, the phone lines are once again now open. That number to call is 855-684-3485. What you're calling in today for is a complimentary consultation with Tim and a copy of his retirement blueprint that he's going to design for you, for your needs and for your wants in retirement. Also, he's offering you the Riskalyze report. And what this is going to explain your current risk level. What are you currently looking at right now in forms of risk tolerance and what have you. But again, we started the show today with 10 spots, and right now we're only down to 3, so don't miss this opportunity, please. The number to call is 855-684-3485. We have to take a very short commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to have so much more about how to plan your perfect retirement. Please stay tuned.
When was the last time you saw your financial professional? Are you getting the most out of the strategy that was created for you? Although you've done a great job finding someone to help plan for your future, are you 100% sure that you were given the right strategy? We can help answer these questions and more with a complimentary second opinion evaluation. We will take a look at what you have in place and then help determine if you're well positioned to get the most out of your future retirement income. In the event that it is not, we can help by making suggestions and showing you how to get on the right path. You wouldn't get just one opinion when it comes to a major health decision, so why would you treat your most important financial decision with such disregard? Call today for your no-cost, no-obligation second opinion evaluation to see if you're getting the most out of your retirement income plan.
Welcome back to the Retirement Blueprint Show. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by Tim Lofton, and Tim is the CEO of the Retire Blueprint. Tim, a great show that we're having today, obviously talking about the importance of planning for retirement and how you're the coach in all of that, if you will, and I love that analogy. We did have a caller that actually came in from Centerville, and his question was very, very good, I thought. I wanted to address it. He said, Tim, can you help us understand what are the 2 different offers that you're giving today, the Retirement Blueprint as well as Riskalyze? Can you go into detail about those?
Sure, absolutely. So the Retirement Blueprint, as we've kind of discussed in today's show, is really designed around what we call the 5 cornerstones of planning. And it starts off with an income plan. And so for the folks that come in and meet with us, one of the first things that we're going to do is design an income plan that is going to help you in retirement know, where am I going to take my money from? What's the taxes and the tax impact going to be on where I choose to take my money from? Things like required minimum distribution and all of the components to actually providing yourself with income. Then we're going to look at the contingencies behind what if something goes wrong. In other words, if you experienced a death of a spouse and we're going to lose part of their pension or maybe all of their pension, or that you're going to drop now down to just one Social Security, how is that going to impact, and what would the plan be in that particular scenario where we could help replace that income with another part of the plan? Then we look at and this is really where our wealth management team is so strong, is they can design a wealth management and investment plan around your income plan. So they're going to put together a plan that is specifically designed to complement and make sure that the income plan will work and that you don't run out of money in retirement. Then we have to look at of course, the tax plan, and the tax plan really impacts both the income plan and the investment plan, because if we don't have the right tax strategy behind how we're invested and how we're going to take the income out, then we can actually lose some critical dollars through retirement by paying too much in taxes. We then look at the health care plan, Medicare claiming, and figuring out exactly, do you need a supplement or an advantage plan, and how that might all work together, as well as a potential long-term care stay. And then the last component is we get our estate planning attorney to sit at the table with us and figure out, what are you going to do to plan for your family and create that estate plan with those 6 key documents to make sure that you're going to do what you need to do. And as we've defined in our show before, that estate plan gives you a critical piece of the pie.
Sure.
It makes sure that you give what you want to who you want, the way you want, when you want, with the least amount of fees possible. So that plan collectively is what the viewers at home have an opportunity to have designed for them at no cost. The second thing is that Riskalyze report, and that really is designed around the idea of how much risk do I need to take? How much risk can I get by with? A lot of times people look at it as thinking, well, I've got to take a lot more risk than they really need to take to get them from point A to point B. And so if we're able to reduce the risk in the portfolio, and that's where our wealth management team gets involved in addressing how much risk do you need to take to make your plan happen. And taking a collective look at that is really a key component to the planning strategy. So the Riskalyze report comes with the retirement blueprint report. Both of those items are on the table. All you have to do is pick up the phone and call.
Thank you, Tim. We also have a caller from Lebanon. He's 5 years away from retirement. His question is, Tim, I do not have a plan currently in place. I'm 5 years away from retirement. Is it too late for me to start now?
It is never too late to start. And I would tell the caller, you know what, you're in great company. 70% of the people that you know also don't have a plan in place, and it is not too late for them. I mean, we have people that come in 65, 70 years old that are into retirement that ask that same question. Is it too late? Is there things that we can do to still make our retirement better? And the answer is absolutely. You can make huge changes. The average married couple today, one of them is going to make it to age 95.
Wow.
So if I'm 70 years old, I've got 25 years left. That's a ton of time, a lot of runway for us to work with to make things better, to potentially lessen the tax burden that you might be having, to make sure that your estate plan is buttoned up, to protect from a long-term care stay. There's so much that we can do. It is never too late. Today is the day. You just have to pick up the phone and call.
That is the most important thing, Tim, like you just mentioned. It's never too late. Today is the day. Pick up the phone. Don't miss the opportunity to put a plan in place that's going to last you throughout your retirement years. And they're all customized, which I love.
Yeah.
To every client that comes in.
Don't get caught in procrastination.
Yeah.
The procrastination does more damage to our clients because they're so afraid to make a commitment that they just do nothing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think we can all agree, Cynthia, doing nothing is not a great plan.
No. What is it? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Is that what it is?
Absolutely, that's it.
I thought so. Well, Tim, thank you for another amazing show this week. I can't believe how fast the time goes when we're together, because the information is just so amazing that you're presenting to the viewing audience, and they're in such need of it. They didn't know where to go before, and you make it so easy to understand, and we always have fun. So thank you for another amazing show.
Thanks, Cynthia.
To the viewers at home, most importantly, thank you for spending time with us again this week. We know you have a lot of questions about how to retire with confidence and retire comfortably. Tim is offering to design the retirement blueprint for you. I believe there's only one spot available this week, so please don't miss that opportunity to call in. 855-684-3485. Thank you again for spending time with us again this week. Be safe, be happy, be blessed, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.